Hello, thank you again for joining me on extraordinaryconnection.org, a daily devotion website put on by the people of the United Methodist Church in Michigan. My name is Pastor Scott, and I am glad you are here with me. Before we begin, I've got to ask, have you seen my last two videos? Because today's video really builds on the videos covering Chadwick Boseman and Mila Bizzotto, the last two that I created. So be sure to watch those before this one. You can find them on the website, extraordinaryconnection.org, or on my YouTube page. And I think you'll benefit if you pause right here, watch those two previous videos, and then come back. Now, if you have seen those last two, let's press on and talk about Bob Marley today. Bob Marley was a songwriter, performer, and musician who was born in Jamaica and became synonymous with the reggae style of music. It can really be said the world wouldn't have known about reggae without Bob Marley, and he is consistently listed as one of the greatest musicians of all time. His contributions to the music world are that important. And he also really brought awareness to Rastafarianism to the world too, at least with the appearance of his iconic dreadlocks and the use of cannabis, which are both important symbols for Rastas. Bob Marley was brought up Catholic, but converted to Rastafarianism at a later age. Without going into too many specifics, if you're unfamiliar with Rastafarianism, as I was, it is also an Abrahamic faith. Rastas believe in one God, they believe in Jesus Christ, but the specifics then vary from there. So if you're interested, I encourage you to read up on their religion. But by virtue of his Catholic upbringing and his Rasta faith, Bob shared that same Christian identity and mandate from Christ to care for those who are hurting in the world. And he did. He put it into practice. He was a charitable man and an activist for peace. In the 1970s, Jamaica was approaching a civil war. There was political tension between the two major parties that was threatening to tear the country apart. The Prime Minister decided to hold a free concert called Smile Jamaica to bring people together, to find commonality between the citizens of Jamaica and create a bridge for dialogue and peace between the two parties. Bob Marley and his band, the Wailers, were asked to come and play one of their songs at the concert because he at the time was a very popular musician in Jamaica. 2 days before the concert, on December 3rd, 1976, Bob was in his own home with his wife and his manager when two unknown gunmen broke into his home. During the break-in, Bob's wife was shot, his manager was shot, and Bob too was injured in the chest and arm. It was believed that the assault was politically motivated, that perhaps Bob was supporting the Prime Minister by agreeing to play at the concert, but since the gunmen were never captured, we won't ever know why they did what they did. But on December 5th, 1976, just 2 days after he was shot, after his wife was shot, and after his manager was shot, Bob Marley took the stage and played a 90-minute set instead of the single song he had originally contracted to perform. When asked, "Why in the world did you go up on stage? Why, Bob? Why did you risk your life and the life of your loved ones for this concert?" He said, "The people who are trying to make this world worse aren't taking a day off. How can I?" Friends, we are all going to encounter bullies. We are all going to encounter those that want to hurt and destroy, those that want to promote hate and anger, people who want to make the world worse. And we can't take a day off either. We have to always and everywhere rechannel the energy and effort of bullies into something positive and uplifting. We have to rise above those who would bring us down. We have to keep shining Christ's light into the world, even when those around us would prefer darkness. John 1:5 says, "The life light blazed out of the darkness, and the darkness couldn't put it out." That's a modern take on how John described Jesus, as a light so bright and so powerful that the darkness couldn't overcome him. But inside each of us is a little bit of Christ, a little bit of that same light. And when we open up and we share that light, Christ light, that resides in each of us with the world will not overcome it. When we respond to violence with peace, we shine Christ light. When we turn the other cheek, we shine Christ light. When we find ways to bring good and healing and hope out of bitterness and pain, we shine Christ light. My prayer is for each of us to always have the courage to do the right thing, even when it would be so easy to lash back with angry words. I pray that we find the courage to redirect hatred into acts of love. And I pray that, like Bob Marley, we never take a day off from shining Christ's light into the world, because the world needs you to show Christ's love. Christ's light now more than ever. The world needs to see there's a better way, a loving and whole way to live and act and treat one another. The world needs to be reminded of that light and to know that no matter what, the darkness will never overcome the light. So, don't you worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right. And I'll see you next time at extraordinaryconnection.org.